Hello everyone, this is Silencium, and today we are talking about one of the most beloved sci-fi anime ever made, Steins Gate. Released in 2011 and based on the visual novel created by Five, PB, and Nitroplus, the anime was produced by White Fox and directed by Hiroshi Hamasaki and Takuya Sato. The series originally aired in Japan from April 2011 to September 2011, and later became extremely popular worldwide after being licensed in North America by Funimation. Even years later, Steins Gate is still constantly mentioned in conversations about the greatest anime of all time because of its emotional storytelling, unforgettable characters, and incredibly smart use of time travel. The story follows Rintarou Okabe, an eccentric self-proclaimed mad scientist who calls himself Hououin Kyuma. Together with his friends Mayuri Shina and Ataru Hashida, also known as Daru, he spends his days creating strange inventions in a tiny apartment laboratory in Akihabara. Everything changes when Okabe accidentally discovers a way to send messages into the past using a modified microwave. At first, the experiments seem harmless and even funny, but the situation quickly spirals out of control as timelines begin to shift and reality itself becomes unstable. Soon, the group finds themselves hunted by powerful organizations, while desperately trying to prevent tragedy and survive the consequences of changing time. One of the biggest reasons fans love Steins Gate is the writing. The anime starts slowly and spends a lot of time building its characters, relationships, and atmosphere before the main conflict fully explodes. Some viewers actually consider the first half boring on their first watch, but many later realize that every small conversation and detail matters. Once the story reaches its turning point, the pacing becomes intense and emotional, and many fans say they could not stop watching after that moment. The series is famous for carefully planned foreshadowing and clever time travel rules that make the story feel satisfying instead of confusing. Unlike many other time travel anime, Steins Gate tries to keep its logic consistent, which makes every decision and consequence feel meaningful. Another major reason for its popularity is the emotional connection viewers build with the characters. Okabe starts as a loud and ridiculous character who constantly acts crazy, but over time audiences see how much pain and responsibility he carries. Kurisu Makise became one of the most iconic female anime characters ever because of her intelligence, personality, and chemistry with Okabe. The relationship between those two characters is often considered one of the strongest romances in anime because it develops naturally through dialogue, trust, and shared suffering instead of relying on cliches. Fans also praise the soundtrack, especially the opening song Hacking to the Gate, which perfectly captures the mysterious and emotional atmosphere of the show. However, Steins Gate is not perfect, and even many fans admit that the anime has flaws. The biggest criticism is definitely the slow beginning. Some viewers drop the show after only a few episodes because they feel like nothing important is happening. The series spends a lot of time on dialogue, scientific discussions, and slice-of-life moments before the real thriller elements appear. People expecting non-stop action or fast pacing may become frustrated early on. Another criticism is that some side characters do not receive as much development as fans would have liked, especially compared to Okabe and Kurisu. There are also viewers who feel the emotional scenes become overly dramatic at times, and others think the anime relies too heavily on repeating certain events to create tension. Because the story is heavily focused on time travel theories and timeline mechanics, some audiences may also find it difficult to follow. Even with those negatives, the anime's reputation remains incredibly strong. Many fans consider Steins Gate a masterpiece because it successfully combines psychological thriller elements, emotional drama, romance, comedy, and science fiction into one unforgettable experience. The anime became so successful that it later received a sequel called Steins Gate Zero, as well as a movie and several spin-offs. Discussions about watch order, alternate timelines, and hidden details still continue online years after the original release, showing just how passionate the fan base remains. At the end of the day, Steins Gate is the kind of anime that stays in people's minds long after they finish it. Some viewers may struggle with the slow start, but those who stick with it often discover one of the most emotional and cleverly written stories anime has ever produced. Whether you love science fiction, psychological drama, romance, or mystery, Steins Gate offers something memorable for almost everyone. Thank you all for watching. This was Silencium, and I will see you again in the next video.